And welcome back, everyone, to part 8 of What If Joey Was a Red-Eyes Duelist. So we're actually going to be doing something a little different. Now, this is coming from the fact that it is filler, the Dolan arc, the Orichalcos arc, the Waking Dragons arc. But B, also, admittedly, a little of my own, just lack of preparation. But I thought we'd do something different because Joey actually has quite a few duels in the Waking the Dragons arc. He duels Mai twice. He duels Rex, and he duels Valen. Technically speaking, that's 4 episodes, and I'm like, that's a lot. But we're gonna be sliding through about 3 of them in this one episode because honestly, and another thing we're gonna be doing is a little different. I will be describing the context of the duels. But I'm actually not going to be doing the duels on screen this video. The reason for that is actually very simple. From a story perspective, the duels kind of actually need to go the way they do, leading all the way up to Joey versus Mai's rematch. Now, something a lot of people kind of asked, and I didn't give a response to because I hadn't decided yet, is Mai going to Domad, going to the dark side, if you will. So a lot of people are trying to argue the fact that she probably wouldn't. And let me see if I can. Let me actually find the one main suggestion I had heard for this. The explanation of why she would not have gone over. And when I read it, I'm like, oh, hold on, let me think about it. And I didn't really agree with it per se. I could see why people would want it, but okay, so let's see here. Nope, not that one. Okay. So someone has basically said that because Joey's a much better duelist, he might be a bit more mature. Instead of letting Mai disappear off into the sunset, maybe offers her to come hang out with them. Maybe she's able to deal with her loneliness to a degree and doesn't join darts. She and Joey are both lost souls. Once again, someone answered. Someone also asked the question of, with his new confidence after winning a lot more, would Joey's new confidence after winning a lot more and better cause him to have a different answer to Mai? If it was a thing about her being in his dream when he was in a coma by Merrick, since that didn't happen, would their relationship be pivotal to this? Sorry, would that relationship pivotal situation still happen? Cause it was theorized that his dismissal of her in it caused her to drift away. I never once heard him dismissing her at all as a theory. Like, he fought tooth and nail to try to save her. So I've never heard the theory that he dismissed her. To answer everyone's question of what I'm doing in this, though, Mai still leaves the group because it's her leaving the group is not her leaving the group. She was really never a part of the group per se. She's kind of that odd man out where she's kind of a part of the group, but not exactly a part of the group. It's one of those scenarios where it still should happen because it's her own choice to leave and try to strengthen herself based on her own resolve. So I don't see Joey being a little bit more mature or anything like that, playing a big factor in this. And her story would still probably end up going the same way. That she would go and she would duel as much as it could to get stronger, but it ultimately didn't matter at all, and then she lost and became an agent of the Orichalcos. I know some people really do want her and Joe. Well, first off, I know that they're technically shipped, which, fair enough. Granted, she's, I believe, a fair bit older than him. Not by a lot, mind you. I think she's like in her 20s. She's clearly more like in her 20s, whereas he's still a teenager. But, yeah, I know they do kind of ship them a little bit. But, yeah, I don't think Mai would stay on her own by her own volition. Or even if Joey tried to persuade her, I think Mai would still be like, thanks, Joey, but I need to go and just kind of do things on my own for a while. And he's like, well, keep in touch. And she probably doesn't do that. She's probably too wallowing in her own self-misery. So there's that, which leads to the actual first duel Joey would partake in the series, or at least the Waking the Dragons arc. His first duel with Mai. Now, I initially considered doing this duel, but because that duel is interrupted, it's the duel Joey gets Hermos, and it's the duel ultimately interrupted. The whole point of the duel isn't for Joey or Mai to actually beat one another. In fact, Joey is actively not playing his best so he doesn't like hurt Mai and like cause her lose her soul. He almost gives up at one point just because of that. Like, Joey is not playing well for a while in that duel, and Joey's also trying to get the duel to end with them losing the same amount of life points, or having their life points reach 0. But we have no idea if Joey even had a card in his deck that could do that. My guess is he did, because he figured out the way to save the day. But yeah, the whole point of the duel is more to actually set up the confrontation with Valen, and then with Mai later down the road. So I didn't see it necessary to actually do that duel. The next one, which I had started to plan out, was Rex Raptor and Joey. And I admittedly did an opening hand where Joey flat out bricked. So I'm like, okay, no, Joey needs to have some cards to play in his opening hand. So I redid the hand. And when I redid the hand, okay, let me explain this duel, because this duel I will actually explain outright. In the duel, Rex went first. He played the Seal of Orichalcos. He played 2 copies of Gillosaurus. Now, Gillosaurus is a 1400 attack, 400 defense monster that lets you special summon it, but your opponent can special something from their graveyard as well. However, if you were to say have it on your opening hand, well, that's a free damn summon on your opening hand. He special summoned 2 of these guys, plus something called Kite Pterodactyl or something like that, or Pterodon, which also had 1400 attack. So they all had 1900 attack. Well, the long and short of this was, Joey had Red Eyes Fusion in his opening hand when I started out when I redid his hand. So he had Grave Robber as well. So he literally just played a Red Eyes Fusion, brought out. I had to determine which one I would do for this. I chose Red Eyes Supreme Dragon, Red Eyes Darkness Supreme Dragon in this case, the made up version, which is the combination of Red Eyes Darkness, a Red Eyes, and something else, which has the same effect, pretty much a Shining Dragon, 300 attack boost for every monster in the grave, or dragon type in the grave. I should probably add that to on the field too, now that I think about it, because that would make a lot more sense. And the Shining Dragon sacrifice and destroy a card effect, which means, but I should also note, he had Shield and Sword in his hand. So Joey actually played Shield and Sword first, basically swapped the defense. His Gillosauruses went down to 900 because they were at 400 with a 500 boost from the seal. Joey ends up summoning Supreme Darkness Dragon, which starts out with 3600, gain 300 for each dragon in the grave, which in this case is 3, thanks courtesy of his fusion. That means he gained an extra 900 attack, putting him at 4500. If I wanted to even be nice, I could give him the extra 3, saying Supreme has that effect, which means that no joke, Rex was either down to 400 or was it 400? Was it 400? It was 400 or 200 in terms of his damage, in terms of his life points. He also said a card that if the stats of a monster of his were affected by, if a monster was affected by a card Joey had, a monster effect Joey had, it would counter the effect to destroy the monster. Did not play a factor here. Rex did have Polymerization, which he drew, and he would have special fusion summoned a monster, but it wouldn't have been able to do anything against Supreme. So Joey would have just literally muscled through the rest of the duel until he ultimately took down Weevil. To the point where if he ever drew Monster Reborn or Premature Burial, or Red Eyes Spirit, then he gets a free Red Eyes, and now Weevil's boned. I keep saying Weevil. Rex is boned. So there's that. Last but not least, though, is the Joey versus Valen duel. Now, this one, This one I was really curious about, because this one I could literally have gone either way. Joey's playing far heftier monsters in this deck than he is in the original. So Valen's armor cards, dealing damage based on monster's attack and stuff like that, depending which ones he's using, could really wreck his shop instantly. Conversely, however, if a Red Eyes is sent to the grave at all and Joey's able to bring it back and summon something, because of the way Valen plays, Joey could win immediately on that next turn. So this really just came down to, how do I want this duel to go down? And I think, honestly, it needed to go down a little bit more similar to how it goes in the original, and it needs to be with Joey winning. The reason for that, and this is where me being the creator of the story, I am playing God with these guys, I can manipulate the fabric of the plot. I think the big reason here is that Joey needs the second confrontation with Mai, which will be its own video next week. That one, that duel I will go into. But yeah, Joey's deck is far more aggressive in this version of the series. It has far more meatier cards than it does originally in the series. So it's going to be, and Joey can actually, and depending on how Joey's hand goes, he can spam out multiple huge threats in one turn. He could get out 2 to 3 big Red Eyes monsters in one turn. So yeah, I would say, and if he's got, say, Lord of D on the field, well, Valen's effects now aren't going to do shit. Like the armor cards, he has to destroy Lord of D first if he's going to be able to destroy any of the Red Eyes monsters with the armor effects. So ultimately, I did decide that Joey would win the duel. Now, this is probably going to be one of the more lackluster videos, because I am not really doing a duel in this episode at all. I will say, as much as I like doing these Yu-Gi-Oh style duels, I think I'm going to bump these off to like once every 3 Dragon Ball what ifs, because these do take a lot more effort for me to kind of do, because I'm limited in how I'm able to structure a video. I don't have quite the editing capabilities as other YouTubers, sadly, and the one method I do these duels in is the best method I have found to do them to date, anyway. So while I really enjoy doing them as something different, I also will say it is a little taxing, especially when we get into go into like the part 10s of these series. But that said, beyond there actually won't be a lot more parts to this series. Joey, it doesn't really duel at all in the Dawn of the Duel arc. He's got 2 main duels in the Grand Prix arc, or Grand Tournament, the Kaiba Tournament arc. And he lost against Siegfried, which, yeah, if he wins that, I'm going to have to bypass the next duel and go straight to him versus his brother. So yeah, there's only going to be a couple more videos to really, and then hypothetically, a rematch with him and Yugi. Maybe he can actually claim the title of King of Games. Who knows? There is one last duel, which I hinted at in the last video, that I do want to do with Joey. But we'll say that, I think, honestly, for like the finale. I think we'll say that for. Anyway, I digress. So Joey ends up beating Valen. Valen gives his salute to Joey. Joey's tired. That is one difference in this duel, though. Joey is not quite on the brink of death in this duel as he is in the original version of this duel, because I don't think the physicality is quite there as it is originally. Like, Joey's not using the armor card. He's not throwing fists with Valen as he is in the original duel. So yeah, I don't see him being anywhere near on death's. He's going to be worn the F out. Absolutely, but he's not going to be anywhere near on death's door as he is in the original. So I think he's going to have that benefit going into the Mai duel. But speaking of which, that leads us into the Mai duel. Mai shows up, and the duel begins. And that is where we'll end part 8. I am sorry if you were expecting another duel. I will put it in the description box that there will not be any real duels. The closest we came was Rex, and even then I'm like, yeah, no, he had Red Eyes Fusion in his hand. I re-looked up Rex's the cards Rex drew. Oh no, Rex would have gotten massacred if Joey had drawn Red Eyes Fusion on opening hands. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.